Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nafiatun Arifah, and here I will present my PLP report that I have done in SMA Negeri 5 Purwokerto. So there are four things that I want to explain in this presentation. They are school profile, my PLP activities, obstacles and solution that I found during the PLP, and the conclusion. Here are some informations about SMA Negeri 5 Purwokerto or Senior High School 5 Purwokerto. The school is a state school and it is located at Jalan Gereja, number 20, Sokanegara, East Purwokerto, Banyumas. The headmaster of this school is Mrs. Siti Isbandiah, SPD MM, and the school implemented a 2013 curriculum, and my tutor teacher is Mrs. Ishartati SPD. Next, we move to my PLP activities. On the first week or week 1, there are three main activities: introduction, observation, and consultation. I introduce myself to my tutor teacher through WhatsApp chat and to the classes that were handled by my tutor teacher. So my tutor teacher handled 10 and 11th grade, and for the 10th grade, she handled 10 social 1, 2, and 3. My tutor teacher asked me to handle 10 social 1 and 2, and I made a video to introduce myself to the students. Then I joined to my tutor teacher's Google Classroom as a student and then share the introduction video that I have made there. For the observation, there are three things that I observe. They are the media, the teaching and learning process, and the students' participations and responses toward the teaching and learning process. Observation of learning devices and the media used by my tutor teacher in conducting online learning. And in this case, my tutor teacher used Google Classroom as a media for conducting her online learning. Observation of online teaching and learning process, which aims to gain preliminary knowledge and experience regarding to the ongoing teaching and learning process. This observation was carried out in the class 10 Social 1, 2, and 3 on the Google Classroom application. Activities that are being observed are presentation of the material, the language that used in carrying out the learning, use of media and learning methods, the time management, and the systematic of giving assignment. And the last is the observation of students' participations and responses in online learning activities. With this observation, I wanted to know the behavior, nature, and attitudes of the student that I will be taught later. The result of observations that I found during the online class at 10 Social 1, 2, and 3 through the Google Classroom application tend to be the same. All students tend to be passive and do not respond or ask questions about the material that has been delivered by the teacher. While the material shared by the teacher is a summary of the material, slideshows, and interactive videos related to the material being discussed. In my opinion, the response given by the students is understandable, considering that students are still in 10th grade who are still relatively new and need to adapt to their new school. In addition, both teacher and students have never met face to face, so it is possible that students still feel awkward and embarrassed to give comments during online learning activities. For the consultation, I'm having a consultation with my tutor teacher related with designing RPP or lesson plan and the use of media. Due to the pandemic, there is change in using of RPP from regular one to one-page RPP, and my tutor teacher asked me to design one-page RPP. And since this is my first time designing this kind of RPP, so I have a long consultation with my tutor teacher about the components that should be contained in the RPP and also the structure of the RPP. My tutor teacher gave me the example of one-page RPP that she has made and suggests me to search it in the internet as further information. She also gave me the topics for designing the RPP, and I got two topics. They are congratulations and compliments and expressing intention. Then I asked for her permission to make a group chat for 10 Social 1 and 2 in WhatsApp applications, since I think that it is more effective and efficient to have an online class through WhatsApp group chat. Then we move to my PLP activities in week 2 and 3. There are 3 activities: design the RPP, implement the RPP, and evaluation. In the second and third week of my PLP activities, I'm designing the lesson plan about congratulations and compliments. There are 2 basic competencies in this topic. They are Basic Competence 3.2 and Basic Competence 4.2. So I implemented the 3.2 Basic Competence in the lesson plan for the first meeting, and the 4.2 Basic Competence in the lesson plan for the second meeting in the third week. For the implementation of the lesson plan, I implemented the lesson plan or practice to teach in 10 Social 1 and 2. I started the class by checking their attendance, so I made the presence list, used Google Form, and shared the link in the WhatsApp group chat. After that, I shared the learning video about congratulations and compliment from YouTube to stimulate their interest and curiosity, and then having a discussion about the video together. Between these 2 classes, students of 10 Social 1 were more active to give responses and answer the question, while the students of 10 Social 2 were more quieter and will remain silent even though being asked. In the second meeting in the third week, I shared the presence list link 15 minutes before the class started to save the time. Then started the class by giving them some dialogues related to congratulations and compliments, and asked them to identify the expressions of congratulations and compliments they found in the dialogues. In the end of the meeting, I gave them exercise using Google Form. There are 5 questions in the exercise. 4 of them require the students to make the expressions of congratulations and compliments based on a certain situation. And the last questions, they were asked to make a dialogue about congratulations and compliments. For the evaluation, my tutor teacher evaluated my time management because in the first meeting, I used too much time in introduction and a perception. And for the lesson plan, my tutor teacher asked me to complete the lesson plan with a summary of the topic. Next, I will explain about my activities in week 4 and 5. There are still 3 main activities. They are design the RPP, implements the RPP, and evaluation. In the 5th week, I designed RPP with the new topic about expressing intention. There are 2 basic competencies in this topic. They are Basic Competence 3.3 and Basic Competence 3.4. And I implemented the 3.3 Basic Competence for the 5th meeting. For the implementation of the lesson plan or RPP, in week 4, the main activities is about discussing the exercise together. So I asked my students to translate the questions and then asked them to share their answer. At first, I let them to answer voluntarily, but because of the passive response, then I pointed them one by one to answer the questions. In the fifth week, I implemented the lesson plan with a slight change in the material delivery technique. In previous meetings, I only delivered material in writing form, but at this fifth meeting, I delivered material orally. I also used slideshow media to support learning at this fifth meeting. I explained the slide by slide material in the slideshow orally with the help of voice note that available on the WhatsApp application. And for the evaluation of the lesson plan, my tutor teacher still asking me to complete the RPP with the summary of the topic. Next, we move on to my PLP activities at week 6. And in this 6th week, I supposed to have a PLP test, but because SMA Negeri 5 Purwokerto held a mid-test, so I couldn't have that. Then my partner and I discussed about it with my tutor teacher and my supervisor. And as the result, my tutor teacher asked me to make a learning video about expressing intention and complete all of my lesson plan, and they are 6 in total. Then I will explain about the obstacles and solutions during my PLP activities. The first obstacle is lack of experience in managing online classes. So the implementation of PLP this time is my first experience to practice online learning. The use of online learning methods like this makes me unable to see and assess the characteristics of students directly, so that I felt difficult to control the class properly. And to overcome the obstacles, I try to find other teaching methods and techniques that are more interesting so that students feel interested and active in following the lessons. And in addition, I also ask and discuss it with fellow practitioners who are also carrying out PLP activities about how and what media they use in carrying out online learning at the school where they are practiced. The second obstacle that I found during my PLP activities is the difficulty in communicating. I felt having an online communication is not very effective to use either to communicate with my students or my tutor teacher. I felt there are limitations by using online communication to discuss or inform something. And to overcome this obstacle, I will avoid miscommunication as much as possible. And the last is the difficulty in preparing the one-page RPP or lesson plan. So I found difficulties in preparing this emergency lesson plan or one-page lesson plan because I have never prepared this kind of lesson plan before. And to overcome this obstacle, I asked for further discussion about the preparation of this one-page lesson plan with my tutor teacher. And I also asked for the example of one-page lesson plan from my tutor teacher as a reference. Then I also searched about this kind of lesson plan in the internet. And last, I want to share about the conclusion of my PLP report. During PLP activities, I can practice directly the knowledge I gained during the lectures, as well as to train and develop my skill related to teaching process. Mm, PLP activities also provided a very useful experience and add practical knowledge about teacher duties. Besides transferring knowledge, teachers also have to educate students on attitudes, values, and disciplinary norms by trying to understand the personality characteristics of their students. I think that's all from me. I'm sorry if I made mistakes, and please feel free to ask if you still have questions about my PLP report. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.